I'm now joined by baseball head coach Scott Strickland, his second year as a Bulldog coach. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Ashley.
Now, what do you see that's different between this team last year and the team this year?
I just think a lot more comfortable with the coaching staff. They know what we expect, and certainly we know a little bit more of what to expect out of these players. But they've worked really hard and adjusted to all the things that we've asked them to do. But I think just the overall comfort level with what we're asking them to do.
And you already done with your first season as a Bulldog under your belt. What have you realized that you didn't realize would be such an adjustment, but maybe needed to work on coming into this season?
Well, I think overall we just need to establish more depth. We just need to get more players in here. And we've got certainly some talent here. There's talent all over the state of Georgia, and that's what we're doing in recruiting, trying to bring in more and more players. But we've got good kids that have worked hard. We feel like they've gotten better since they've been here. So more than anything, we just got to catch up with everybody else and get that talent level on the same level as everyone else in our conference.
And something else you guys are catching up on is Flea Field renovations. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on there and what should we expect for the new season?
Well, it's been unbelievable. The transformation that's gone over at Foley Field is almost done. You can walk right across the street and see it. It's really, really close to being done. We're 9 days away from playing, and they might be hammering some nails in on game day, but they're going to be ready, and we're really excited about what's going on over at Foley.
With the 2015 season right around the corner, like you just said, what have the guys been focusing on in the offseason in order to really start with a straight line this season?
Well, just getting ready for that grind. 56 games. It's a long season. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So getting the best shape they possibly can. The pitchers got to get their arms ready to go, and that's what we're focused on right now, is getting our pitch counts up on our pitchers. But just getting themselves physically and mentally ready for the grind of the SEC season.
And as you said, so many games, such a long season. How do they kind of take a step back and relax when it's boom, 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 game, game, game?
Well, it's tough once that season starts. We're playing 4 and 5 games a week. We've only get one off day per week. It's usually a Monday. We come off of a weekend series, and that's their day to kind of kick back and relax. But then you've got the weight room stuff that they got to do. They still have to condition a little bit during the season, and then they've got all the demands of the Georgia classroom. So it is a really difficult grind for them. And again, that's why we work so hard in the offseason to get these guys ready for February through June.
What do you think the key to success this season will be?
It starts and ends with the pitching. So our pitching staff, we feel like we've got some more depth. Having Sean McLaughlin and Jared Walsh back, huge kick for us to get those guys back and healthy. And we feel like those guys are going to be ready to go and to contribute to our staff, give us more depth, and really put out a quality rotation in the SEC.
And what should we expect against Eastern Illinois on February 13th when that first pitch is thrown out?
Well, certainly a lot of excitement. You've got a new stadium. We're going to open up. We're going to ribbon cut that right before that first pitch. And you're going to see Robert Tyler on Friday night. Robert Tyler's going to be an exciting player for us. He had a great freshman year. He's going to continue to get better. You're going to see a lot of new faces out there, but people are going to like the way that we play. We're going to play very hard. We're going to play with a lot of energy, a lot of enthusiasm, and I think people are really going to enjoy watching the Georgia Bulldogs play this year.
Now, last Friday was the first pitch banquet, and Hall of Famer John Smoltz was the guest speaker. How did that impact you, influence your players, and what did you think about his speech?
He was off the charts. I've seen John obviously pitch a lot on TV, and I've heard him speak on the MLB Network, and he's certainly very good when he talks, but I did not expect that. I mean, he went 35 to 40 minutes. I don't think he took a breath. And it was just a great message. He had everybody in the house was on the edge of their seat listening to every word. He was way better than what we expected. We knew he'd be good, and so it was just an awesome night for our baseball program. Just really honored to have a Hall of Famer like John Smoltz come to speak to us.
Welcome back to GeorgiaDogs.com's National Signing Day. I'm here with the softball head coach Lou Harris-Champer, and I'm Ashley Rosenberg. Coach, the season is just 24 hours away. How excited are you?
Oh, we're thrilled. We cannot wait to get out there and play somebody else, outside competition. Doesn't really even matter who it is, just the fact that we get to put our uniforms on and play as one and compete against somebody else.
Most of the 49-15 2014 team is returning this year. 6 newcomers, though. How are they adjusting so far?
You know, it seems like forever ago since the fall. So I feel like they're really coming together, and we'll see when we get in a game, you know. I don't like to predict too much. I like to get out there and get it done.
The 3 big names we always see when we hear about UGA softball is Alex Hugo, Chelsea Wilkinson, and Paige Wilson. How are they doing during the offseason?
They're doing fantastic. You know, they've had a busy fall. They all 3 went out and tried out for the national team. So they went through that. They worked out all fall. They've been doing great in strength and conditioning. But more probably more importantly is the fact that they're really fighting to lead our team and to really teach our team to lock arms and band together and fight.
And when you have that many leaders on the team, does it kind of, the leadership get thrown around a little?
You know, at times different people step up, but they treat each other like family, like sisters, and they really intend to go out there and compete as one.
And in the next 3 days, or 4 days, you've almost got 5 games for the softball team, pitching-wise. Other than Chelsea Wilkinson, who should we expect on the mound?
You know, we have three other pitchers besides Chelsea. We have 2 freshmen and a sophomore returning. So, you know, given the game, given who we're playing, you could see any one of the 4.
Last year was the first ever SEC title for the softball team here. Does that motivate your team to get going this year?
I think it does. You know, they know that they have what it takes in order to be successful, to compete as one, and just basically freeing it up and competing every pitch.
2 of the newest additions to the Bulldog family this year is Courtney and Sydney Emanuel, the first ever set of sisters on the UGA softball team. Is that cool to watch them kind of grow and work together?
What's cool is to just such respectful, good young ladies. They're just awesome people. And then to see their talent come out on the field, that's a plus. It's a lot of fun. They're super fast, but they're just wonderful young ladies to boot.
And do they ever compete against each other in practice?
I think they do compete against each other. They wouldn't say that, but they're fast and they're fun to watch.
So in the off season, it's finally come to a close, and again, almost 24 hours. What did you guys focus on in order to get a little bit better than you were last year? So close last year, and did so well during the regular season.
I'd say the main thing is really having a ability to hit good pitching. That is our number one goal. Our focus is to figure out how to score runs on a given basis any day. It doesn't really matter who the pitcher is, but having an approach that allows us to score runs.
And is it nice to start off the season at home?
It's wonderful.
All right, Coach, well, thank you so much. We're looking forward to seeing what you guys do in 2015. Let's take a look at the behind-the-scenes video of the video shoot we did with the softball girls, and after that, we'll have Coach Scott Strickland of the baseball team. Welcome back to National Signing Day here on GeorgiaDogs.com. I'm Ashley Rosenberg, joined by the women's soccer new head coach, Billy Lassane. Welcome to Georgia.
Ashley, thank you. Very happy to be here.
How has the transition been coming from North Carolina down to Athens?
Still in the process. We're closing on a house at the end of the month, so my wife and kids are still in North Carolina finishing up some of their school things, and about spring break we should transition into Athens, and it'll be nice to get the whole crew here.
And I know you've only spent a little time in Athens already, but what have you figured out you love about it so far?
I like the food, and honestly the support that's here for the student athletes. Beth is wonderful in the academic services. Chris and Kat have been great in strength and conditioning, and just the nutrition department. There's really so much that the athletes have access to here that I think really is going to help our program going forward.
And you were 14 seasons over at Duke University. What are you going to bring from Duke over to Georgia?
I think there was some success that we found doing specific type exercises and just the involvement of the total student athlete. And I think bringing some of the things there is going to be important, and just a sense of competitiveness. I think 2011 the Duke team made it to the national championship game, and kind of want to bring some of those ideas and kind of specific talents forward here, and putting a good staff in place is kind of the first footprint that we use there.
You're able to get a lot of time with the athletes before they even step foot into the season or preseason. What are you guys focusing on during the off season in order to get ready for the regular season?
It's an interesting time right now because of the 8-hour rule where only 2 can be involved with soccer. So there's so much more being implemented in strength and conditioning, speed and agility, those type things. They have 6 hours of that type work and only 2 hours soccer. So we're really focusing on the individual athlete right now, making them faster, stronger. Once the 20 hours picks up, then we get more into the specific part of soccer and how we build our team and how we attack and defend as a unit.
I know it's different coming into a new school. A recruiting class already set for you.
Right.
It's a group of defenders pretty much that signed this year. Is that what you feel like Georgia needs more of?
Watching games on tape and having video and then dealing for 2 hours a week with the players right now, I think that is certainly an area that needed some attention. there were several injuries last year, and again, that's something you can't really anticipate, but having depth in those positions is really important. So I do think the fact that there is there are several players that are coming into those positions as defenders are really going to help us as we move forward.
And what have you learned about Georgia soccer thus far?
I've learned that they're very competitive. The players have, for a very large team roster right now, they have a good camaraderie and a really good sense of family that they're developing together. And again, as a coaching staff, that's one thing we're trying to build upon, is that ability to get everybody moving in the same direction.
And recruiting is different at every school, I'm sure, but what are you going to bring for the recruiting class for the next year that will kind of grasp their attention and want them to come here?
Yeah, I think, the state of Georgia has so many talented players, and really identifying the top players within the state and having them make the University of Georgia their first option and have them look closely at our university. And I think if they come on campus here and get an idea that we're going to take care of the student athletes academically with the academic support that we have, and also on the field, trying to get some immediate success on the field so that they can reach both of their goals academically and athletically, and showing that the University of Georgia is a great place to do that.
And I'm sure it's always intimidating walking into a room full of females. How have you adjusted meeting with your new team?
It's been great. We met as a team initially, and what I've wanted to do is kind of build and establish relationships with each player. So we've had some individual meetings, 30 to 45 minutes, and sit down and talk about family, talk about what their academic goals are, and then we sit down and talk about soccer and things they want to specifically work on this spring and the roles that they want to see for themselves as they move forward. So it's really been good establishing some of that groundwork, because I want them to be able to approach the coaching staff, and I want to be approachable, have that open door policy so that we can talk through, there are going to be difficult conversations at times, and then there are also going to be fun, lighthearted conversations, but I would definitely want to be available and be accessible for them at all times.
Workout-wise, when summer comes around, what will be the one main thing you want your team to focus on? Is it defense, offense, goalkeeping, communication? What is it?
Yeah. Summer's a little bit different because the coaches can't work with the players. They just have to work speed and agility and strength training. But once we start our camp in August, when everybody comes in, I think we sort of build from the back forward. Organizing things defensively. And again, we'll see how much we cover this spring in that regard. But, how we build from the back, and because once we kind of set our back line, it'll determine how we can attack. So, once we implement that, generally start on the defensive side, and within the first week, we're really focusing in on how we attack from there.
And I know the season's about 200 days away, but what do you expect out of this group of athletes?
Difficult to say. Again, I've only had them for 2 hours a week, and we've got 5 recruits that'll be coming into the program. But they're a team that's starved for success. I mean, I think they made the NCAA tournament, so they got a taste for that, and they're hungry to get back into those, that top 64 with an opportunity to compete for a championship. So, we're really driven to, get it back into that NCAA tournament and see how far we can go.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for joining us today.
Sure.
Good luck in the 2015 season. But first, let's take a look at the 2014 season highlights from this past year.